Hi everybody, my name is Jan Dufour and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This is being filmed for March 15th, I think, yes. And I wanted to give you some tips and tricks and time-saving things to take a little bit of a break from what we're doing with our card maps. If you are watching me on YouTube, if you need project sheets for any of the previous card maps or future ones, you need to go to my blog, which is stampmesilly.com. If you have a question or you want to get a free catalog, email me at jandufour@yahoo.com. And if you want to purchase anything, although I'm not really selling you anything today, I'm just showing you some things. But if there are other card map ones that you saw that you'd like to purchase some products, you can go to jandufour.stampinup.net. Starting May 1st, we did have a new catalog come out, so there's lots of goodies in there. All right, so the first thing I'm going to teach you is, and I've mentioned this and some of these tips spread out through different videos, but I wanted to put them all in one place. Before you change your blade, your cutting blade, before you decide that it's dead and it needs to be cleaned, it needs to be replaced, you might consider that it might just need to be cleaned. Particularly when you cut small pieces. So all I'm doing is I'm taking a pin, I'm putting it in the channel, and I'm going to just run it down. And as you can see, there are all these little bits and pieces that came out. I blow those away. Do it a couple of times. Some people use their take your pick tool. The thin one is thin enough to get in there. I prefer not to do that just because I've broken one that way. Not cleaning, but using the thin picky point for something I shouldn't have been using it for. So I would just caution you on that. And then try cutting some more. And then that will tell you whether or not you also could check your blade to make sure there's not anything on there, but then you can check it to see. Now, if you do cut something, I think I have an example here. Maybe not. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, wait, here. Yeah. So this is what I mean by not cutting cleanly. I don't know if you can see those tiny little fuzzies. Try to do this and see if they show up. If you get those, you don't have to throw it away or recut it. Just take a file of some sort. You can use a straight file or these ones that you can get anywhere. And just, if this is the front of the card, brush to the back and along the edge, and that will make it nice and smooth. And so you can rescue that one. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, oh no, this was number two. Sorry, I can't count very well. Put that back up there. Tip number three is using a stamp positioner. We had the wonderful Stamparatus, which I have, so I still use when I'm doing my own thing. But we don't actually have one for sale. I've tried several others. Unfortunately, I'm biased towards the Stamparatus. There are things I don't like about two of the ones that I have reviewed, and I haven't publicly reviewed them because I won't say anything bad about anybody else's products. They just don't measure up to what I want. So if you were lucky enough to get a hold of a Stamparatus, this is definitely the best. So if you can get it, it does way more things than any one other stamp positioner can do. But I also made a very inexpensive alternative. The Stamparatus used to cost, I want to say $40 maybe even 50. You can't get a stamp positioner for less than 70 now. So if that's too expensive for you, you can purchase, they come 4 stamp cases. You can use them forever and storing whatever. And I have a whole blog about it. Just search my blog at stampmesilly.com, look for stamp positioner, and this will come up. This works as well as any other commercial one that I have tried so far. You know, it fits in the corner just like it's supposed to. You can use a magnet with it because I put a magnet sheet on there. I have grid paper here so I can line up the stamp. I can stamp it, and believe it or not, it does a good job. It really, really does do a good job. It's not as convenient as the Stamparatus was, but it certainly works. So you can go back and check out that one. Another thing people complain about, and I don't know if this one, I just did it to this one, so it's probably not going to be, yeah. Some people have a hard time. These, when you first get them, don't run very good. There's a solution to that. Just take any chapstick. I have little teeny ones here because I made those. Just run the chapstick along the outside. I'll close this up so I don't make a mess. This one's kind of soft. And then, you know, smooth it out so that you don't have any clumps if anything came off. And then run it through a few times and it'll be super simple to be able to do. So those are my tips and tricks for today. I'll have more in the future. But now I wanted to talk about some time savers. Sometimes, well, the best time saver doesn't even count as a one, is after you stamp, put away your stuff. I can have a marathon session with stuff all over my desk. And in less than 10 minutes, I can put everything back where it goes. And one, it leaves me with a clean desk, which makes me just want to stamp again. I can find things that I need. And so I just really encourage you to do that. But I didn't count that as a time saver. One time saver is cut your cardstock for card bases ahead of time. That may seem like a no fun kind of thing, and it kind of is a no fun kind of thing. But I'm going to show you, you know, you can do it while you're watching TV. It's real easy. So if you want to have the card that opens up the traditional way, I guess, the first thing you do to save time, make sure you are using not your cutting blade, but your scoring blade, is put the whole sheet of paper in, measure it at 4 1/4, and go ahead and score it. You can see the score mark right there. Then when you turn it around and cut it at 5 1/2 to give you the standard size base card, you now have 2, and they're already scored. I will go through an entire pack. Now I have a large cutter that will do more than one at a time, but this is a mindless kind of operation, and it is really nice to be able to have cards all ready to go. When you want to make something, you don't have to, you know, find the cardstock and cut it in half. I keep it in my drawer. I don't know if I can take this out. Yeah, it's in a little tray. Find one that fits. These are top-down folds, and these are regular folds, and I just leave them in there for when I need to make a card. I can just grab one real quick, and I usually have this really full. So it's time for me to do that again. All right, so cutting your cardstock ahead of time. Re-inking your ink pads that need ink re-inking. It's a time saver and a tip and trick. So the reason why it's a time saver is, and I'm gonna see if I can show you, see how it's mottled lighter and darker? That means it needs to be re-inked. It saves time because if you stamp and it's not dark enough, or in some places not dark enough, you've wasted your cardstock and you have to cut another one and stamp again. So I put that in the time saver because you are saving some time. Now there's a couple ways you can re-ink. I'm gonna grab a credit card. Ooh, that might be a good one. Let me get yeah, this one's voided. All right, so the way you do it that I find works the best is to just slowly go back and forth and make little loops. And I'm not squeezing real hard. You can see the thickness of my little stream, and I go up and down and across, and that's it. I don't over re-ink them because then you're going to get blobby ink, and you don't want that. But then that eventually would soak in and spread out, and it would take too long for me. That's too much. So I go ahead, and you see I'm picking up ink, but I'm going in all directions and just redistributing the ink. And I know it still shows the pattern, but it will be evenly distributed if you use your ink pad with, or a stamp with it. And then I kind of like take off as much of it as I can. And I will clean that in a minute, but then I can, I need a piece of paper that I can stamp on. And I picked a light color for two reasons. One, so that you could see it on the modeledness of it, but see, it's very well stamped and it's not blobby. So that is, in fact, a time saver as well as a tip and a trick. So we'll put those aside. And you should keep the tools that you use all the time in a close to reach, either in a drawer or in some kind of container, and keep them close. This is I use every time I stamp box. This is an erasable pen, Frictions, love them. These are more, there's, you know, highlighters and different colors. Sometimes when I'm making notes, I use different colors. These I use, this one is a take your pick tool. I say it's dangerous. I cut myself live on TV on one of my videos with this thing because this had slid down. So I keep this with it down, but it's over here. I do use it, but I don't use it all the time. I have some extra bone folders. I've got spritzing water. I've got an old stylus, but I already have a stylus that's in my pencil. And then I've got extra scissors, more scissors, snips, and that kind of thing. All these are little boxes I got at, I think, IKEA. I have also used tin cans. You get a little can, open it up on the top, use whatever's in there if you like, and then I just wrap some paper around it, and it looks very pretty. These I tied together so they wouldn't move around on my desk. But having them where I can reach them without having to open drawers and try to figure out where they are is very handy. So I would encourage you to do that as well. Another thing, especially if you're newer and you don't want to have to cut cardstock and you don't have a good paper cutter, you can do a couple of things. The first one is we have assorted Memories and More cards and envelopes. Now, even though you're not doing memory keepers, these make very nice. This is considered an A6 card. It is, these are the envelopes. It is 4x6, which is a standard memories card, but it makes a very nice regular card. And then you get 20 of those, and then you get 20 of the smaller ones, which are 3x4. The envelopes are a little bit larger. These cannot be mailed. So these would be things that you put on a gift if you were giving a gift. So keep that in mind. But even with, let's see, from Memories and More, it costs you 29 cents a piece for each one of these. So it would be 60 cents if you only used the bigger ones, although I'm sure you'll find a use for the smaller ones. The next option is to have ones that are just 5.5 by 3.5 when folded, and those are the smallest that you are allowed to mail. So these are mailable, and you get 20 cards for that, and that makes them, am I doing the right one? 32, yes, that makes them 50 cents a piece. So that's an economical way. Plus you don't have to cut them. They're already scored. You just have to fold them in half. And then if you want to get fancy, which I did a fancy and fun thing earlier, we have different sets that have, you know, pretty envelopes, and oftentimes pretty cards as well. I can show you these real quick. These are called brushed, let me see, brushed gold cards. I didn't open them because I wasn't going to use them, but I'll show you the cards because the cards are also very pretty. And typically when you buy the specialty ones, they are pre-decorated, if you will. So here's the card. If I can get one out for you. So look at this card. It's beautiful. And you almost don't have to do anything. Put a sentiment, slap a sentiment on it. It's very, very pretty all by itself. And so if you buy these, they cost 60 cents a card, which is, great. So it's a time saver. It's also a money saver if you don't have all the tools that you need. I hope these tips were helpful for you. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like to see other tips and tricks. Next week, I'm going to go back to doing my card maps. And for those of you, if you have not seen the previous ones, in our new catalog, these have been enlarged so I could see them. There's all these pretty ways to start the base of a card, which is really helpful to get your mojo going. And you'll see in the previous videos, I'm already up to, I've done that one. I'm about to do these two. You'll see that sometimes I change it up a little bit, but the idea came from the card map, and that's why they're so cool. So you'll see some of those next week. There is a promotion going on right now for the month of May to join. For $99 plus tax, no shipping, so that's an 11% savings. You can have $125 worth of product of your choice, and then Stampin' Up! Will add 4 different in-color products. So either a stamp pad or a marker or paper, that kind of thing of their choice. They'll put it in 4 different, I think they're different. I would imagine they would be different, or coordinating one or the other. I'm not sure. They didn't really say. But anyway, you get that in addition. So that's a really good savings. Along with that promotion, I also have in the video on my blog a piece of paper that says, I want a stamp, but what do I need? And there's 2 sections. I don't have anything. So a brand new beginning stamper, or I need some more stuff. And I have it add up to approximately $125. So it helps you think about what's the kinds of things that you want to get. And that is only good until May 31st. So if you're interested, that's 2024. If you're watching ahead, that is on my blog. So if you're watching me on YouTube, you need to go stampmesilly.com. Please consider subscribing. That you'll get notified once a week. I post on Wednesdays, unless there's a flash sale, and then there will be an extra post, but those don't come out all that often. Thanks so much. I appreciate you all stopping by and listening to my videos. Bye.